Okay, Leticia, how you doing? I've got your work up right here. I just want to bring that over. So I was able to complete my assignment. It was a little confusing. I believe it's only because I'm adjusting to the LMS. I get that. I totally get that. How you doing with the LMS? If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to let me know, please. I'll be glad to give you a nice little tour and really describe it to you. But it sounds like you're starting to get acclimated, so that's fantastic. I think that um, the way the assignment is set up specifically for who have never done user prototyping before, it can be very confusing at first. So I agree with you. Once you get the general process down of why we wireframe, the relationship between wireframes and paper prototypes, how demographics fit in with defining the target audience, how that target audience is directly reflected in the personas and the scenarios, and how the iterative process is to be established based on your user testing. So yes, it is. It's a little complicated at first. Once you get that general methodology down, though, which you will this week, it looks like you already have, by the way. Most students, I can see the light bulb going off after this presentation. So it's just a matter of plugging the correct resources in at this point. But I just do want to reinforce that comment that I made earlier about if you do need help with the LMS, I'd like to be the first one to know so that I'll create a designated video for you and just give you a tour describing the features and where the navigation. If you need it, it's there, okay? So at this point, let's go ahead and take a look at your work. And presentation it's a home run. I mean, this is just phenomenal. I can't say enough about the presentation. It's just fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time and effort and having the pride as a designer to put your work in this wonderful presentation format. Thank you. One comment here, typographically, that should be hung. That's a hanging quote right there, which means the M should be in alignment with that left margin. The quote should hang off in the margin. That's called hanging punctuation. I'm not real sure if you composed this in InDesign or Illustrator, but a simple Google search how to hang punctuation in Illustrator will give you the results that you're looking for there. Typographically, I think the pages are gorgeous. I think your color um, palette is gorgeous, and I'm just really super pleased with what we have. All right, that said, let's take a look at where we're at and where we need to be for Sunday's final submission. So right up here, I've got my week 2 critique talking points. So let's go ahead and take a look. Specifically, let's start right here. So in the week 2 project 1, everything should be in place right now in your process book, including the cover, as well as the introduction pages. And then a lot of the introductory research that we did last week should be included here, specifically ideation of the problem with 3 main sections: the target audience, the 3 main functions for the app, and the competition. Now, I just want to jump over to the example real quick because we can see that we have things like target audience. Um, Let me see. Target audience right here. So you can see that it's 3 very, very detailed descriptive paragraphs defining the target audience. It's not just one brief statement. So that's important. I think that's really important. And over here, we've got the competition with the pros and cons. And take a look at the presentation here. I mean, she's showing the competition. She's listing it as a comparative analysis. And she's giving a really detailed, I shouldn't say it, I should say this designer is giving a very detailed um, synopsis of the functionalities and features of the competition, the visual design of the competition, as well as the usability of the competition. So we've got one, two, three, four, 5 comparative pages of comparative analysis on the competition. So think about that. Think about that type of presentation. Whenever you're in doubt in your piece, take a look at this presentation. This presentation is got some things that are missing, like the storyboard sketches, etc. But this would be considered A work in the parts that are here. So you would definitely want to take a look at this. Here's the target audience of several paragraphs. So really be as detailed as you can. And if you're ever in doubt, jump over here to see how this designer handled these different requirements. So we jump into yours with our persona and tasks. We've only got 1 persona. I recommend 3. I recommend 3 for one reason. You want a wide variety of persona in order to create your scenarios. Okay, so I think three, in this particular case, I think it would be easy to establish three personas. I would say one would be for the child learner, one would be for the educator, and one would be for the parents of the child learner. Okay, so you've kind of grouped this into two, but don't forget it. This is a user persona, not group personas. Okay, so one persona would be for the child, one persona would be collectively for the parents, and then one persona would be for the educator, the teacher. And then you could take those personas, those information, and use that information you've established in the persona to create your scenarios. So in the scenarios themselves, you've got these tiny little narratives. There are three-pane narratives. I would say you wanted to shoot for more detail here. The scenario shouldn't just show interactivity with the app. The scenario should define the problem and show how the app will rectify that problem. For example, the scenario 1 at home or the scenario 2 at school. One of the issues here, it seems, is, well, what is the difference between this scenario at school with your app and this scenario at school without your app? And why is the scenario with the app more appropriate or more advantageous than the scenario without the app? Okay, so one of our classmates did exactly that. She said scenario with the app, scenario without the app. That's certainly one option, definitely. But let me see here. Let's jump in to see how this designer handled the scenarios. Here's our scenarios here. So we've got the child, we've got the mom, and then here we've got the artist. So, and then we've just got a really nice detailed little look at everything that is happening with that specific scenario. So I guess in a long-winded way, what I'm saying is consider a more complex narrative for your scenarios. Okay, introduce the problem, introduce how the problem exists without your app, introduce your app in the scenario storyboard, and introduce how the app will rectify the issues associated with trying to complete the task without the app. Okay, hope that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. I'll be glad to clarify. Okay, then we have our task flows. This is excellent. Really good job here. Excellent. Okay, then we've got our wireframes, and then these wireframes are sketched out, right? And that's fantastic. But for presentation's sake, when the time comes, probably, I mean, I would do it now because this is due very, very soon. So I would take these sketched out wireframes, and I would just go ahead and put them in digital format. So just digitize these so that they're take on this kind of look right here for your wireframes. Okay, and it'll look much more professional in your um, final project portfolio, which hopefully will be of the quality to include in your final student portfolio when that time comes. But as you can see, the wireframes are all mapped out, right? And then we've got screen mock-ups based on those wireframes. Okay, so you can see the advantage of including those in digital format. And then you've got photographs of a couple of screens for your user testing, but you've only got 3 screens here. So for your user testing, remember you want to include all of at least the 3 main features that you had listed during week 1, and probably the opening page and the sign-in page. And then that's great. I definitely want to see pictures of your user testing. If not a video, take a look at the Welcome to Week 3 video announcement. You'll see where I'm talking about when I say video. You can actually include a video right in your presentation of the user testing. I think that would be fantastic. As far as the user testing goes, here we can see this is usability testing, and these are the tasks that this designer used: to log in, to create a profile, to change the theme, to lower the volume of sound, to create a reading pet, and to buy a book. Okay, so these are you would come up with a usability test format like this that would include at least 5, 6, or 7 tasks, and then the screens associated with those tasks, of course, you'll have to create for your prototypes. Okay, all right. So again, what we have due this week is ideation of the problem, the cover, of course, for your presentation. Ideation of the problem, including target audience, three main functions, competitors. We have established personas and at least one scenario. I recommend three personas and two scenarios. Wireframe sketches of all screens, which it looks like you have, but I would recommend transposing those into digital for your final portfolio presentation, final process book presentation, which comes up in week 5 of the class. And then create storyboards of your scenarios. And then we talked about that, paper prototypes. All right, so you're well on your way here. Just a few things that need to be adjusted and added, and you're good to go. So really fantastic job. And I wasn't kidding about that offer to show you around the LMS. If you need it, I'm here to. I don't want you to get frustrated in this class because of frustrations that have to do with the LMS. So let's just nip that in the bud. By the way, awesome little logo there. That's so child friendly. This is great. I'm so pleased here right now. So let's continue working hard. Questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. I'll be glad to make any clarifications needed. Thank you very much.